Hello, my wonderful friends. Meg is here back in the library. We are on chapter 9 of Circe. Oh, what an adventure chapter 9 was. Real quick, book club. I just walked by my shelves and I saw these books and I thought of you guys and how much I love you and how, excuse me, how blessed I am to have your friendship in this time together. Look at the Little Paris bookshop. Did we have fun with that? To Kill a Mockingbird. Perks of Being a Wallflower. And then this one doesn't hold as much memories for me, other than I just needed a break and some mindless reading that was really well written and a fun story. But as I looked at those books as I was walking by, I just thought of each and every one of you. And now we're sharing Circe, which is, my favorite book of all time, other than Asha, of course. And I just felt grateful today. So I wanted you to know that I'm thankful for you. So chapter 9, it's morning, the sun just over the trees. She's in the garden cutting some flowers for her tables. She's talking to the pigs, and Hermes shows up. Oh, I see you're talking to the pigs, and they have that kind of, I love the back and forth banter they have, the funny relationship they have. He says a ship is coming. I thought you might want to know. She stands. She goes, here? What? A ship? He smiled. He always likes seeing me at a loss. What will you give me if I tell you? She wants to know more about the ship. What will you give me? She says, be gone, I said. I prefer you in the dark. He laughed and vanished. So I like in this chapter, we're starting to see her personality come out more. Before, she was so quiet, right? Like a little invisible mouse in her father's halls. Everyone else with their sharp tongues, and she was always kind of knocked off balance. Here she's finding her strength, finding her voice, and she's finding that banter. And when you think about Hermes, right, he's one of the big gods, right? And she talks to him just like a friend. She said, I made myself go about the morning as I usually would in case Hermes watched, but I felt the tension in myself, the taut anticipation. So this just shows how human she is, right? Is she is trying to go about her work like nothing's bothering her in case Hermes is watching, but it is bothering her, right? And it just makes her so relatable. So the ship comes and it's Daedalus. Remember at the wedding, her brother was telling her about the great craftsman. And so she's heard of him, and he is very honored that she recognized him. Who wouldn't love that? So he tells her, I'm here with a message from your sister. She's with child. She needs your help. Circe's is thinking, you must have it wrong. That can't be the message. She's never needed me, right? There's never been love between me and my sister. He says, it's not love she's after. She needs your gifts. So she kind of likes the thought of that. She likes the idea getting to show off a little bit, right? Can you imagine you turn into this great witch and you've created this life and this power and this new attitude, but no one to show it off to, right? You kind of want to have someone to show it off to, but at the same time, it's her sister. She's getting a smart mouth, a little sarcasm. I kind of like it. She says, oh, what a relief, because he said, hey, your dad's going to let you off the island to go do this. And she's all, oh, what a relief. I can't wait to get freed from this terrible prison. They look around and it's like beautiful, perfect spring on the island. Says he didn't smile. He wasn't in the mood for jokes and stuff. There's one more thing I'm instructed to tell you. We got to go through the straits. Pasiphae ordered him. He has to go through the straits. Where Scylla dwells. She ordered you to come that way as well. How many did you lose? 12. This just breaks her heart. People are dying, right? And she knows it's her fault. She's mad at her sister now. because the men didn't have to come that way, but she made them go that way so some would die, so she would feel bad. And it's bugging her now, right? She's, how dare her come asking for my help. Matter of fact, she says, I imagine stalking into my house, slamming the door on its great hinge. Too bad, Pasiphae, you'll have to find some other fool, right? So why didn't she just do that? It says, but then 6 more men, or possibly 12, would die, right? That's her heart. She's willing to put up with her sister and the drama and whatever lies ahead to try to save life. She has no guarantee she could even save them, but she feels she has to try. As they go down to the ship, she examines the figurehead, a young dancing girl, and of course with Daedalus's work, it's just perfection. Almost looks like it could dance off the front of the ship. Let's see, what else do we got highlighted here? Oh, okay, so when they get on the ship, a guard pats down Daedalus. Daedalus? Am I saying that right? Daedalus pats him down. Circe asks, why are you under watch? He goes kind of like, oh, you noticed that? He said, they feel that I might not fully appreciate their hospitality. She remembered Hades saying that Pasiphae had him trapped. Well, surely you might escape. Pasiphae has something of mine that I will not leave. So we got a little mystery here. What is that she holds over his head that he can't get away? Oh, now they're headed out and they're going to go past Scylla. She starts remembering back before she was turned into this hideous monster. I saw her face as it had been in our halls, round, laughing. The curve of her wrist had been like a swan's neck. Her chin would tilt delicately to whisper some morsel of gossip to my sister. The green robe Scylla used to wear at special feast. Her silver sandals with lapis lazuli. There was a gold pin with a cat on it that kept her hair up off her neck. So it's really kind of showing, I guess I can't say the humanity because she's a goddess, right? But just, how would you even word that? Circe's just seen her, instead of the monster that she imagined her, where she always hated her and was jealous of her and felt ill-treated by her, she's seen the better side of her, maybe, the more, and I want to use the word human, but it's not that, but you know what I'm saying, right? Just her clothes and her little baubles and her wrist and their whisper and laughter, and so I think it's making her feel kind of bad, a little guilt. She's thinking about Daedalus. For some reason, she's wondering what would keep him bound to Pasiphae. She's going, is it maybe a lover or a wife? She said, I could not imagine him in a pair, only singular and alone. Gold, then, an invention he made. She's trying to think. She goes, well, if we get out of this alive, maybe I'll find out. It's nighttime now. They stopped on an island to rest, get some provisions. She says, I kind of hoped Hermes would land. She even thought about maybe begging out for help. She's getting a little nervous, but couldn't pull herself to do that. Now she starts getting like paranoid. I think it's so funny. Again, we're just getting into Circe's head. She thinks he should go lie with my sister, I thought. They would like each other. Then it struck me for the first time, perhaps they've already slept together. Perhaps they lay together often and laugh at me, right? Perhaps all this has been his idea. And that's why he had come this morning, to taunt me and to gloat. My mind played over our conversation, sifting for meaning. See how quickly he made a fool of me. That was what he desired most of all, to drive others into doubt, keep them wondering and fretting, stumbling behind his dancing feet, and I get that. Never let religion or gods do that to you, play with your mind where you get stuck in those loops. You know, you guys know my story where I used to get stuck in those OCD loops of, oh my gosh, did I blaspheme and all that. Don't play those games, don't give them the satisfaction. It ain't worth it. You're better than that. And there's better gods out there. I think people that are born in a religion that's not very good, right? You ever look at someone's religion, you're thinking, oh, that's your religion? That's your God? That's your holy book? You're like, oh man. Why don't you pick a better one, but people think they can't. You can. Pick the best God you can. Oh boy, let's see. What else do we have underlined here? Oh, so she's talking about, she's having this memory of her father talking about that no God may undo what another God has done. But she's thinking, well, I'm the one that did this, so maybe I can undo it. She wants to change Scylla back. She gets some Molly to break a curse to ward off that evil thought that had changed her in the first place. She gets some other provisions from the island. And now morning comes and it's time to head out. And the sailors, they're oiling up the oarlocks to try to keep them from squeaking, right? And they're getting ready to head out. She tells one of the crewmen, I need your cloak, I said to him, and your tunic also. He looks at her like, why? Who are you? And she's getting her confidence. She says, because I don't desire the death of your comrades. Do you feel otherwise? Right? She's not a little cowering mouse anymore. He gives it to her. Daedalus says, you don't look much like a man in these clothes. I'm not meant to look like a man. I want to look like my brother. She's going to use a glamour spell, which made me think of every October I watched The Craft, that 90s show. You guys ever watch that? If you haven't, check it out. It's really cool. It's called The Craft. And there's a free version on YouTube. There's two of them. One's a little better quality than the other. Check both out. Can't remember which is which. But they use glamours in it, and she's doing a glamour to make herself look and sound like her brother because Scylla used to have a crush on her brother, so she's going to try to look like him and then try to feed the herbs into her mouth and get her to hopefully change back. Oh, I highlighted and starred this. This is important. She said, I felt a sudden plunging doubt. I forced that thought away. Get this. Fear of failure was the worst thing for any spell. Fear of failure was the worst thing for any spell. If you're fearing it's going to fail, you're putting your energy, your emotion, your focus on it's failing, and it'll fail. So she focuses instead of on what she wants and what she's willing. Let me just kind of read some of this because it was some of the best part of this. I could feel the tension as they're rowing along there in the mist. And she's like wondering, are we moving? It's foggy. I can't tell. Let me just read this. The mist came first. It closed in wet and heavy, obscuring the cliffs, then the sky itself. We could see little, and the sound of the sucking whirlpool filled our ears. That whirlpool was, of course, the reason Scylla had chosen these straits, to avoid its pull. Ships must steer close to the opposite cliff. It brought them right beneath her teeth. We pushed on through the thick air, and as we entered the straits, the sound grew hollowed, echoing off the stone walls, my skin, the deck, the rail, every surface slick with spray. The water foamed, and an oar scraped the rock face, a small sound, but the men flinched as if it were a thunderclap. Above us, buried in the fog, was the cave and Scylla. We moved, I thought. We did, but in such grayness it was impossible to tell how far or how fast. The oarsmen were trembling with effort and fear, and the oarlocks creaked despite their oil. I counted the moments. Surely we must be beneath her now. She would be creeping to the cave's opening and smelling out the plumpest, The sweat was drenching the men's tunics, their shoulders hunched, those not rowing crouched behind coils of rope, the mast base, any cover they could find. I strained my eyes upward, and she came. I always imagined what she would look like, a snake, an octopus, a shark, but the truth of her was overwhelming. So now she cries out with her God voice, "We have been searching out a cure for you, a powerful drug to turn you back. We miss you as you were." And so she's kind of talking to her, trying to draw out time. She sees that Scylla's interested because the God's speaking to her. She's wondering if she's hearing her. She's playing her brother. She says, "Circe's been punished and exiled for what she did to you." And she's trying to waste time so those sailors can row past, and you're feeling all the tension as she goes. And then she's got, many heads, and the heads start looking towards the sailors, towards food. They're forgetting about what Circe's saying, but one head is still kind of listening, has its mouth open. She throws the bottle up into the back of its throat, sees it swallow it, and then she speaks her spell, but nothing happens. And then Scylla strikes, right? Bust into the back of the ship, doesn't hit anybody, but then coils up, is going to go again, is coming down, but she's run out of tether, right? Her legs are like up in the cave holding her in place, and she can only go so far. Says, "I knew she would not miss. She would strike the deck itself, crack the ship in half, then pluck us from the water one by one." But the blow did not come. She had reached the end of her tether. We were past. Now this here, it was a little harsh, but it also shows you why Circe spoke this way, because we've never seen Circe really speak angrily to anyone, cruelly to anyone, but you see why here. She's riddled with guilt. So the men, they bow down and say, we will make you sacrifice every day. They're praying, they're lifting up her hands, worshiping her. She says, "You fools, I'm the one that made that creature, out of my own pride and delusion, and you thank me," right? She's ripping into him, not being very kind. She tells them to get up off their knees. "If I ever hear you speak of your imbecile gratitude, I'll make you sorry for it." They cringed and shook like the weak vessels they were, creeping away. Right? And you're thinking, that doesn't sound like Circe. But then she yanks off the cloak, says she wanted the sun just to burn her up. She wanted to be scorched down to the bone. She's not in her right mind right now. She's just riddled with guilt of what she did to Scylla, of all the sailors that are going to come and die. She's upset that she couldn't change her back. She couldn't undo what she did, and I think it's a good thing that she's upset about it. I would be more worried about Circe if she didn't care, and she cares a lot. What do you think, Princess? Look who's here. Look, everybody, it's Princess Pooh. What do you love Circe? Yeah, well, tell us about it. Do you like reading Circe with Daddy? Yeah? Is Circe, that's your favorite book? Oh, Asha's your favorite? Oh, yeah. Me too. Oh, look what I started. All right, guys. Love you.